Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys joining me for today's episode. And guys, got a good one for y'all today. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite topwater lures. Old school, does not get fished hardly ever. Right situation, guys, you cannot beat it. It'll outproduce any topwater you can throw, and that's the old Bomber Long A. This is a floating bomber right here. I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish this bait because it is absolutely one of the funnest baits you'll ever fish when we're on it. So we're going to talk about the windows that it works here in today's episode. Also, guys, a couple quick things to remind everybody of. Anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Shoot me a private message. We're getting a lot of trips lined out for jerkbait lessons coming up this fall. Get all the information on there. And also, guys, please check out my fall and winter Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns. If you guys got a fishing trip planned over the next couple months, getting one of my breakdowns is going to give you some great resources to get some good fishing places on your favorite lake across the country or a lake you've never been to. And finally, guys, check out the new Blaukat Throwback Power Finesse jig, man. This is the one I've been catching a bunch on lately, the green with the purple or the brown with the purple. I'll put the link in the description there, and appreciate you guys enduring all the plugs there. Really appreciate everybody's support on that. Okay, guys, this is, if you're not familiar with it, this is the old Bomber Long A, they used to call it. Long A Bomber. And a couple of different things with this. This used to be one of my favorite jerk baits. This was like a early model that sort of came around the same time as the medium build Rogue. So during the early 90s, before Megabass had a jerk bait, I used this Long A quite a bit, just like a regular jerk bait, weighting it down, suspending it. But the technique I want to talk to you today is fishing this as a wake bait on top in the fall time of the year, this time of year. So I want to talk about that. Now, the wake bait and the Long A, this is an excellent lure just to reel just along the surface like there and throws out a wake behind it. So this is a subtle wake bait. The Long A is because you have to reel it really slow to keep it from going under the water. But if you do it right, you can get it where it just goes just about like that and it stays on the surface, throws out a little wake behind it. And guys, you've got to have the right conditions for this to work. But if you have the right conditions, you can catch some big ones on this. So the first thing you need to do is, the color doesn't matter. Just get any color Long A. I'll put the Long A link in the description in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to pick up a couple. Just get a couple of it and just scrape the sides off. See, all I did with this one, I think this had chrome on it, scraped it down to the bone, left a little bit of black on there. You want the bone sides. This is the really key thing with that. And then you want to put it like on 14-pound test monofilament line, and you need some type of a long, medium action bait caster. I prefer something, over 7 feet, preferably 7.5 feet, because on a long rod, when you make the cast out there with the Bomber, you can keep your rod tip high in the air, and that keeps the bait from going under the water. It's like you've got to keep as much line out of the water as you can, or the bait will go under. So when you throw it out there, I'll make a long cast, I'll keep the rod tip high, and then I'm just barely turning the reel handle, guys. I'm turning it just slow enough to get the bait to wobble, but you don't want to get it too fast because it'll go under the surface. So hold it up high, reel it super slow. If it does start to go under the water, just stop reeling, let it float back, and just start slow reeling like that again. Okay, now that's how you work it. Now let's talk a little bit about the scenario that it works in. You got to have really 2 or 3 different things in line for this thing to work. The number one thing that you have to have is calm water, or at the very most, just a tiny little ripple. I'm talking about tiny, but the best situation for this is a slick, calm surface of the water, because the reason you want the slick, calm surface is you can see the wake coming out behind the Long A on a slick surface. And this is what attracts the fish to it, is when they look up and they see that wake behind it. That is the trigger mechanism. So if you have a chop on the water, you can't see that wake and it's not as effective. So that's the number one thing. The next thing with it is you got to have the right water clarity window. The water clarity for the window, or water clarity window for the Long A, is about 3 to 6 foot clarity. So you need a minimum of about 3 foot, maximum of about 6 feet. That is going to put it in the perfect, situation for those fish to actually see this thing and come up on it. And then finally, I prefer some type of low light condition, like a cloudy day. I don't really like rain because you can't see the wake as good, but some type of a cloudy or 75% overcast day, or concentrate on shade. So when you got and the water temperature should be in the 55 to 70 degrees in that range in the fall time of the year. Okay, now the areas this works in, it works in a diversity of areas. I've caught a bunch of fish this time of year throwing the wake bait down the sides of floating boat docks. It's a great way to catch them. If you got water visibility and floating boat docks of over 3 feet, just reel this long A just along the edges in front of that dock. Those fish will come out and hammer it. Points are excellent, especially if you have clear water. If you have a lake that has over 4 foot of visibility, you can get out there on those calm mornings, calm days, get out there in 15 or 20 foot of water on those points. Just fan cast that long A all over the point. Throw it up in 3 foot of water, throw it over 20 foot of water, just work the entire area. And then finally, I like to fish it in the back parts of the coves. So I'll get back about 2/3 of the way back in the coves, and I'll just fan cast everywhere out in the middle of that cove. And those fish a lot of times will come up out of the middle of the cove and get it. But anyway, guys, this is an excellent bait in the fall time of the year. It does not get fished very often. Most people consider a wake bait in this sense here to be some type of a spring lure, but I have found that October and November are two of the best months that you can throw it. So pick you up a couple guys, Tackle Warehouse link in the description, bomber long A, scrape the sides off, get it down to bone, and just fish it on those calm days and see what happens. I think you guys will be surprised. So talk to you later. See you.